Good morning, everybody. We haven't been live in a while. Today, we are joined by Craig Vinnicombe. He's our performance coach for the Academic Excellence Program, as well as Byron van der Ross at the bottom there. Byron, if you can just put on your camera so everybody can see who you are, unless you're not feeling too okay. I know you've been sick. But today we're going to go and see what performance coaching is all about, how we go about what he does in his classes, the benefits of his classes, and exactly what to expect when joining the Academic Excellence Program. Over to you, Craig.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Thank you for having me back on the webinar. Yeah, so much has happened since the last time we had our webinar. Obviously, the last one we did is when we just started. The Academic Excellence Program's been going for about a month now. And yeah, I'm happy to discuss what we're doing currently with our students. And so I'm just going to start the presentation. Can you see the presentation, Melissa?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, everyone, people who are watching that don't know me, my name is Craig Vinnicombe. I'm the performance coach at C Academy. Last year, I graduated with distinction in my Bachelor of Arts honors degree in psychology. I'm passionate about education, about psychology as well. And now I'm on this journey as a performance coach. So what we do in the Academic Excellence Program is through structured course designs focusing on methods that are built to enhance student academic excellence and well-being, repaving the foundation of and for world-ready students. So what we have done is we've developed a program to help students overall academic performance and their well-being. And how we do this is we start off with we have a few topics in the program that we go through with the students. And the first one is stress relief techniques. And these are techniques that are intended to help students deal more effectively with stress in their lives. And why we look at this and we've included this into our program is because a student can be very prepared, well prepared for their exams. You know, they could have all the information that they know, and they can still, in an exam environment, because of being stressed and being overwhelmed, they can still fail or underperform in their subjects. So what we focus on in this the stress relief techniques is breathing and stretching techniques that we for the students. We go through different breathing and stretching techniques. We discuss the importance of time management, the importance of getting rid of all distractions, about taking breaks, about exercising, discussing how you're feeling as well. So it is important for students to discuss either with fellow classmates, with parents, with even me as a performance coach, how they're feeling, the stresses in their life when it comes to the academics, the importance of sleep and how vital sleep can be, and the importance of having different study foods or snacks during studying as well. The next topic that we focus on is motivation. Motivation can affect how students approach school in general, how they relate to teachers, how much time and effort they devote to their studies, how much support they seek when they're struggling, how they perform on tests, and many other aspects of education. And the contents and what we focus on in motivation is the four elements of motivation, sorry. The personal drive to achieve. So with me as a performance coach, we discover and help them find their own personal drive to succeed in the academics. We help them stay committed to their personal goals, to take initiative in their life when it comes to academics or just in life in general, and find ways to be more optimistic in life, because studying and going through high school can be a very difficult time. It's not all ups. There can be a lot of downs as well. So just helping them find ways to be more optimistic. The next topic that we go through is time management, and it's defined as using your time more productively and efficiently. But what happens when you are working as productively as possible and you still can't get everything done? So it is better to think about time management as a combination of working productively as well as prioritizing your time. And how we do this in our sessions, we discuss what time management is, understanding time management, reflecting on it, creating a schedule for the students as well that they can follow, and also doing a lot of discussions. The next topic that we focus on is goal setting, and that is a process of establishing clear targets or objectives for learning. And this is obviously very beneficial for young learners, because it can help with laying a foundation for success and creating self-belief. Goal setting can also create awareness of individuals' strengths and weaknesses. And how we do this is we discuss in our sessions what are goals and creating goals. We discuss the difference between short-term and long-term goals. And then with my students, what we are currently doing now is we're creating short-term goals for their academics as well as their personal lives as well. And in our classes that we had this week, we set short-term goals for the next week for academics and for their personal lives as well. So whether it be, spend more time with myself, or, studying an extra hour in the week, small goals like that can be easily achieved as well, and we can build their self-confidence. And yeah, and then how we also, in terms of our methods that we use three different methods: the SMART goal setting, the SPIRT goal setting, and the GROW goal setting. And why we've chosen three different goal setting methods is because every student is unique, and not all students work well with one type of goal setting method. So we've chosen three different ones that students can choose one that works best for them. The next topic that we focus on is study techniques, and in the program we have chosen 8 different study techniques, and as well as creating a study schedule. So when the students, when we move on to the topic of study techniques in the program, we first look at creating a study schedule and the importance of creating a study schedule, and then we go through the 8 different study techniques with examples that can be applied to their subjects. For example, we recently, this week, we did the PQ4R technique with the grade 11 physics class. And the PQ4R technique is basically, it's preview, question, read, recite, and review. And then we use the topic of Newton's laws in physics, where preview would be to preview the work, skim through it, go through it, and just get a general idea about what Newton's laws are all about. Question would be start asking questions related to the topic, such as what will I learn from this, and topic. Questions such as that. And the next one would be to read it. And basically, you read through the Newton's laws one section at a time and see if you can answer all your questions. Then you will recite it, and then you will create your own summary on what you've read and what you've learned. And then the final one is to review it again and see if there's any questions that you still don't understand or you still need answers from. So it's quite nice to go through these different study techniques and then implement them in their actual subjects. And then that's pretty much what we've got. And I mean, it's been working really well so far. And if you have any other questions, Melissa, I'm happy to answer.
Great stuff. Thank you for that, Craig. And Craig, if we can just go into, I'm just going to remove this slide for
Yes.
the time being. There we go. If you can, tell me, how do you start your classes? I mean, I understand what your methods is, your techniques,
Yes.
and what is going to be offered, but how do you engage your students?
So I always so obviously our coaching sessions are about an hour long. I always start my classes by going and asking my students, how are you? How are you feeling today? How was your last week in terms of your life and or your academics as well? And and just build that rapport with my students as well, to show that I'm not just a coach or a teacher. I can be a mentor as well that can help them with other things rather than just academics. So my one student, for example, was saying that she's struggling with sleeping. So my first question to her was like, okay, are you on your phone before you go to sleep? And then she's like, yes, coach, I am. And I was like, okay, what's best to be off your phone for the first half an hour to or an hour to a half an hour before you go to bed. So we have time just to have discussions as well. I also like to also I've implemented word of the day. So this week the word of the day was self-efficacy. And self-efficacy is basically it's defined as one's belief in their own capabilities to achieve a goal. And then we discuss that with my students. Um, I discuss with my students if they have high self-efficacy or low self-efficacy and the importance of having high self-efficacy. And then I discuss, yeah, and then once we've gone through that, we will start our class.
And if so, you've been doing this now with a few of the students since April. Um,
Correct.
have you seen any changes? Have you seen what is your classes? I mean, I know from a personal point of view, when you finish a class, you're always so excited when you finish
Yeah,
that class. So tell me about that experience.
it's so. I mean, as a for example, I like to use my grade 11 physics students. When I first started with them, just small things to me, like they wouldn't have their cameras on. They didn't want to show their face. They were very obviously they didn't really know what the classes were all about. Now when they come on, the cameras are on. They say good morning, like good afternoon, Coach Craig. How are you? They're so excited to be there, and they're so involved as well. It's not just me sitting there talking to a screen and just having them listen and take notes. It's very much more of a discussion where we're constantly talking about different things. And from the first class I had with them, I said this is not a class where I will just give you information, you write it down, and that's it. Like I want to learn from you as well as learning from me. Have these discussions, make it different to your everyday class, and every day is different. Every day, sometimes students will come up and say, sorry coach, like let's talk about this. And we don't really have a structure in our class as well, that we have to go through everything at a certain time. If students have a topic that they want to discuss, we can take 10-15 minutes and discuss it.
Okay, so it's about a flexible class and easy
100%.
setting.
100%. And then I also explained to my students as well, we do have content to go through, but it doesn't have to go through a certain way. I kind of adapt my classes for my students as well. So for example, when I started the after discussing with the students what we will be doing in the academic excellence program, I asked them, so how would you like us to go through it? So for example, my grade 11 physics students said to me, we'd like to go through one topic at a time. So at the moment, we are just focusing on study techniques, where other students say, I want to do a bit of motivation and study techniques today. So it all depends on what the students want as well.
Okay, fantastic. I like the fact that you're allowing the choice of
Of
what they
course,
want to cover and how you're being covered.
of course.
What I also find is that, or at least let me ask you this: how do you gauge? Because obviously, as a performance coach with goal settings and timekeeping and all those things, how do you put that in play for them? I mean, where do you start? You get like feedback from them first, reports and those type of things, see where they're at, and
100%. So obviously we have exams coming up in June, July. So with a lot of my students, I obviously gave them the choice, but I also discussed the importance of starting with study techniques because exams are right around the corner. So currently we are working on our study techniques, and we were just discussing, we're going through study techniques and seeing what study techniques work for each student. For example, I had a class this week where I went through a study technique, and one student loved it, and the other student said, um, "Sorry, coach, I don't think I like this." And my response to them was like, "Okay, then scrap it. Like, you don't even have to write notes on it, because if it's not something you want to do, then don't do it." And then after that, we went through another study technique, and she absolutely loved it. And she's like, I would love to use this. And then I was like, okay, well then solely focus on that one. So
mm,
it's not necessarily like you need to take all this information, and 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 you need to try and implement it in your life. It's finding what works for you and then implementing it. And
That's
then
it. Mm.
sorry to interrupt. And then so we very close to finishing on our study techniques. And then the next step, which will be next week, will be focusing on scheduling with my students. So I'll be sitting with them and creating schedules by them telling me, okay, I have this today, I need to do this, and then we can find the best time for the students to study, and then we'll be working on committing to those. So every week I'll discuss with them, okay, did you do your hours? Did you, why didn't you? Why did you? Let's look at your goals. This is what you want to achieve. You will achieve this by doing this.
Awesome stuff. I like the fact that you are involved with the kids. I mean, sometimes all the kids really need is that person that they meet with every single week to tell
100%.
them where you're at. This is what you need to do. This is how you're going to do it. And the study methods, as you discussed, is one study method cannot be applied to all students. And
100%.
unfortunately, when we are in school, at least when I was in school, they used to teach us the paraphrasing. Well, at
Yeah.
least that's what I was, taught. And then it only when I started going studying out of school, university, those things, that I actually realized that, hold on, if I actually used something like mind mapping for my studies, I would have done so much better. But I also understand that, when you're in a school or a main school environment or even online schooling, tutors don't have the time to teach kids these
100%.
methods, the timekeeping, the memorization techniques, because for them to work through every single technique takes time, which means it
Yeah.
takes time out of their classes, out of their lessons and stuff like that.
100%. And to add to that, Melissa, as well, especially when it comes to subjects like mathematics and physics, there's only so much time that teachers and tutors need to get through all that work before exams, so they don't, as you said, they don't have time to focus on anything else other than just what they have to do, because they also have a time limit to get through everything, because those subjects, there's a lot of content and there's a lot of things that need to be understood from the students before they can even think about focusing on. And that's where I come in and have that extra time with them, to where we do focus on which subject that they are, like, that I'm coaching them on, but we don't look at the content of the work. We just focus on what content or that we have as a performance coaches, and then how we implement that for that subject.
Okay, so it's still subject focused coaching,
One hundred
but
percent.
okay, but all the skills that they learn from you can be applied to all subjects.
All subjects. That's the point. The point is, obviously the students are coming to subject specific classes, but you can take study methods that probably won't work for physics, but they can work for English.
Okay, and do you find that kids have one or more study methods depending on the subjects that they are doing?
That's yeah. So I literally just had in my class or my coaching session this week, I had a fantastic conversation with one of my students saying how she wants to take a bit of one study technique and a bit of the other and kind of create her unique study technique that she'll feel that works best for her. And I
Wow.
said to her as well, go for it. She even told me after the class that she's going to go and do that, and I said, email me your results, tell me like what came from it, if it helped, and then we can discuss it in our next class. Because even from my own experience, through university, I discovered that I also did not follow one study technique, but I liked a bit of each of these different study techniques, and I created the own one that I followed. So what's fantastic about this academic excellence program is that we can take small sections of each each study technique and create one that's unique for them as well, whether it be a part of the litmus system or the space practice technique. Just take bits of each one that the students like and feel that it will work for them, and then create their own ones as well.
Awesome stuff. I'm not too sure, Byron. Do you have any questions for Craig, perhaps?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Hi
Yes, we
Byron,
can.
yes, how are you?
Right stuff. Not too well to be honest, but I'm here. No question particular, but what I can say is I like the fact that how this is centered around our students. Most definitely, and how we engaging with our students and making sure that we can get the best out of them through the necessary skill set that you have, that you put well instill into our students. No questions right now. I like the fact that everything has been everything that you said has been pinpointed accurately, and there's a clear guide as to what our parents can expect. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how more and more come on board and we can pull through with this.
So, thank you so much for that, Baron. And yes, Craig, as like you said, the presentation today was phenomenal, and it's
Thank you.
such a huge need within South Africa, and the fact that we at Seeds Academy has implemented this kind of platform for our students is amazing. So I'd really appreciate the fact that you've I can see that you've put some time into this, your
Of course.
thinking, your passion with regards to what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and the fact that you take your personal life and also bring it into the picture, so that you can relate to the kids that you are teaching and stuff like that.
100%, Melissa. I'd like to just add on to that as well that as a performance coach now, I'm sitting with my students, but I also let them know that um, in grade 11, I got 12% for a physics test. Or in even in tertiary education, my undergrad, I failed modules as well that I had to repeat the following year. So I can relate to the student struggles as well because I've been there and I've been through that and I know how overwhelming it can be and I know that there's times where you feel like there's no hope and you can't get out of it. But that's why I'm here to say that I can relate to you and I can also show you ways that help me, but let's also find ways to help yourself.
That's true. And you find that people, once students relate to a situation, because um, you always perceive a teacher, and I'm using a teacher, not a coach.
Yeah.
You always perceive a subject to teacher to be all knowing about that particular
Yeah.
topic. You know, like there's nothing you can tell that teacher that that teacher does not know,
Yeah.
and within their right, because I mean they really focus on it, but they're not always relatable. I
Yeah.
mean, what was their journey in getting there? What was their choices in choosing that particular subject? What did they do? How did they, that type of thing is not
Yeah.
there when teaching. There's no, I can't say that there's no passion for it, but there's no,
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is, but I think you understand from a
Yeah.
coaching point of view is that
100%.
when somebody can relate to the person that's actually doing or
Yeah.
offering a service, it's easier to adapt to that particular person.
100%. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, as an example for that as well, when I used the example of Newton laws in my presentation, it's because I just did that with my students this week. And when I asked them, um, what are you guys going through at the moment? They said Newton's law. My first response was, oh my goodness, like I remember how difficult that was. So trust me, and then so when and my students we laughed about it and we just discussed it because I said to them like trust me, a few years ago, I was in your shoes looking at this thinking, how on earth am I going to do this? And for
Yeah.
them to be able to relate to me, as you said, see me as not this all knowing, performance coach that's there to help them, but also just being like a human being that's had the same struggles as them and what they're currently experiencing.
That's so true. Craig, I don't know, is there anything else that you like to put out there before we close our session today?
Yes, 100%. I would like to also announce that for the next month in May that I will be hosting free demo classes for students and their parents to come and see what a class is all about with them. So it'll be about 20-minute demo class that we will be hosting once a week. And we'll be sending out links in the week for if we can do it maybe on a Saturday or we can so parents can take time with their children to come and sit in on a class with me for 20 minutes. I can go through a few things of what we do in our classes and answer any questions that they have as well. And then if they're happy with it and if they want to join, they can come and sign up with me.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for that, Craig. I'll make sure that that goes onto all our social media pages,
Fantastic.
so that people can get in contact you with regards to those demo classes. I also feel that, you know, that there's not a lot of exposure with regards to what coaching is all about. So having these demo classes will give parents and students an idea of what to expect in the class.
100%.
To all our viewers, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you find courage to just join us for a demo session. It is free of charge to join a 20-minute session with Craig, see what he does and what he has to offer. And then also your services with the services with Craig as a performance coach. If you are a student with us or not even a student with Seat Academy, you can still sign up and use his services. He is available Monday to Friday. Oh no, I'm lying. It's Monday to Thursday and
Yes.
Saturdays.
And Saturdays.
You know, so he takes his Fridays, he's off on a Friday. So Monday to Thursday and on a Saturday, he's available up until 2:00. To book a session with your child. I know that the class complement is 7 kids in a class, because small group sessions is also very important, as instead of the one-on-one sessions, group sessions is just more important, or small study groups have more impact, especially if they're doing it for a specific subject. They can actually, that particular group can move forward with their studies in a subject. And that is only if you want to add a subject into that platform. Alternatively, join us next week. I'll be sharing, or Byron will be sharing, a link on social media pages. You can contact me via our website. Alternatively, email me on melissa@seedsa.co.za. Just going to pop my number down there, everybody, so you know, have my details. But guys, have a blessed weekend. It's the end of April. I cannot believe that it's the end of April, guys. I mean, like, time's flying. But I'm excited. Everybody's excited. I mean, we are blessed to have Craig with us. We're excited to have you. This journey that's coming up and everything. Good luck, all the best, and I know that you are going to make a success of this. All right, so
Thank you.
everybody, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will catch you guys hopefully next week. Bye-bye.